No, it's not. It's John in the green tank. It's not quite a DeLorean, and well, it doesn't travel through time, but I will take you there, folks. We have some serious, serious problems going on in the country. As you know, shit has hit the fan pretty damn hard. And where I want to take you today is we are literally reliving everything. But the tyranny now isn't in a book. The tyranny, the evildoers, they're not in a movie. And it can't be solved by fast forwarding, skipping ahead, if you will. We can't solve our problems that way. You can't take a coffee break, or you can't go to the bathroom. You can't go get more popcorn and come back and everything's just fine. Nope. So I want to cover a couple of topics, and you'll have to excuse the code, right? The scientific code speak, so we can discuss these topics without being punished for it. But there are some big problems, folks. And I want to start with Cerveza bug and the problems associated with it. And then also I want to discuss the Jim Jones juice and the problems that are coming up with it. And then how all of this, right, goes into the past. And it will tell us our future, folks. So, I mean, to start with, here we are, more than 18 months. 18 months. Let me get positioned here. 18 months since Cerveza bug originally hit, and I said, hey, look, shit has hit the fan on this one. It's been 18 months, and guess what? They're still pushing the mask mandates. In fact, there was a governor of one state, can't remember which. I'm busy navigating the thoroughfare, the shall we say, streets of time. But yeah, there's a governor, once again, mask mandates, and then he goes to an indoor function, doesn't wear a mask, gets caught, and just says, oops, made a mistake. Oh, I forgot. You know, meanwhile, they want to issue fines to you in Australia. They'll just fucking arrest you. Right? But that's all coming here. But that's in our futures, right? That's in our futures. On top of that, folks, they're just ramming mask mandates and other requirements onto children. Yet in another school district, state, they're trying to mandate mandatory testing for children in school. Now, what does that mean? Oh, that's not so bad, John. They're just checking on people. Well, it depends on what science you're listening to. Are you listening to movie science? You know, like Back to the Future, where they can just make up words and terms and say that their cures are going to solve all the ills of the world. But when you look at what real scientists and real experts are saying, and I'll tell you what, I have talked to people who can confirm what I'm about to tell you, right? That it is the deep nasal swab. That is risky and dangerous to your health. And they're continuing to use it, folks. When you push through a mucous membrane that is designed to be a barrier between the outside world and your bloodstream, and start jabbing with a fucking stick, right? People I know have gotten sick time and time again. After they get the test, they end up getting Cerveza bug. Well, John, no, that's not how it works. Well, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to leave it up to the movie experts to tell us, right? They appear on TV and they tell us the truth, and they got a .gov behind their name, so they must be right. Right? They're the recognized authority figures on the subject. You know, but wait, you know, this whole idea, Back to the Future, there's more. There is a lot more to what's going on, right? Not just continuing mandates, not just mandatory tests, not just subjecting children to this shit, you know, not just making kids wear masks, which reduce oxygen levels in their blood, which, you know, affects their energy, affects their health, affects their ability to think. Isn't that what kids are supposed to do in school, is think? Well, here we are, folks. It's 2021, and none of that matters. What matters is a political agenda. So what else is going on, right? Back to the future. Well, let's keep moving. In Texas, they said you can't mandate, right? In the state of Texas, you can't mandate people to get the Jim Jones juice. And the federal government says, oh, yeah, we can. And the state says, no, we have our rights. Well, that fight is ongoing. And it is incredible, folks. And Tucker Carlson is all over this. Big Marge is all over this. There is no mandate. There was a speech, there was a press conference, there were press releases, but there is no mandate. There is no executive order, there is no statute, there is no law. Right? There isn't even a written edict on it, yet they're calling it a mandate and saying it's real. Well, everything is coming into question, folks, but really what this comes down to is 1776. Right? You've got to go back to the past to see our future. If you think that the governors in the American colonies didn't lie to their people, then you're mistaken. If you don't think that the bureaucrats, that the redcoats didn't say, oh, we'll back off, we'll fix things, we'll make it better, we'll go get those bad guys, we're going to stop enforcing this rule and that rule. They did it just long enough so that people calm down, and then they continue it. They continue it, folks. They're going to continue to push this shit. They're going to continue to push this. But the consequences of the Kool-Aid are starting to show. They're starting to show big time. Just yesterday, a school student was at home. He's doing an online class. He was not in a class with everyone else. Keeled over, folks. And for all of you non-nautical types, keeling over means the boat flips over, keels up, also known as heels up, right? Bought the farm, kicked the bucket. Someone fucking died. Young guy. Now, I don't know this one. This is a news article. Once again, heart problems, folks. Why are so many young people keeling over from cardiac-related issues? How long can they hide this, folks? How long can they hide this? The airline pilot, the unconfirmed rumor that the airline pilot keeled over while in flight. And flight surgeons are saying, yeah, there's a problem because there is additional stress on the body being a pilot. And let me see if I can explain a little bit of it in short to give you some detail. Again, I like this thing called science. If you're a pilot, if you've ever looked, well, you used to be able to look in the cockpit of jets. Even jumbo jets have small cockpits. Space is at a premium. So they take a pilot and they jam them into a very tiny place. And unless the pilot has to get up and take a leak, they have to stay in that fucking seat. They have to stay in that seat and they can't move. They can't move their legs, really. They can barely move their arms and their torso. Consequently, their blood sits still quite a bit. The only thing circulating the blood through their body is their heart. So their hearts have to work a lot harder, and the blood tends to pool. And when blood pools and stops moving, what does it do? It clots. Take that factor, folks. The desire of blood to clot when it's moving very slowly, like as in a pilot strapped in a seat. And you combine that with a foreign agent that has been put in people's body called Kool-Aid, Jim Jones juice, that already wants to clot, and then you add other factors like sedentary workers, airline pilots. Airline pilots are at huge risk, so much so that the military doctors are really concerned about this. Another type of worker that is going to and is apparently experiencing keeling over episodes, clotting issues, are truck drivers. Yeah, they have to step on the gas and step on the clutch, and they got to work the brake and shift the shift, but they are also sedentary. They don't move a whole lot. Now, if you're going down the highway like I am right now, blowing and going, all you do is rest your foot on the accelerator, reach the maximum speed limit allowed by law, and you're just sitting there using one finger to keep the steering wheel and the vehicle between the lines. Truck drivers are starting to experience issues with this, folks. And we're already having problems with our infrastructure. And what does Biden want to do? That's right, he wants to introduce a new economic model as we come out of the cerveza bug pandemic. How convenient. Folks, they're going to have a new economic model. They're going to have to, because people aren't going to work. People are quitting. People are saying, fuck you. People are saying, I'm not taking it. Not taking it. And a court has ruled now in one federal district. It's funny how everyone has their own little rules that they want to play by at different levels, but they're saying that the objection that people have to the Jim Jones juice cannot be denied. Can't be denied, folks. Right? No one else has a right to tell you what your religious beliefs are and what they mean. Well, except the state, I guess. The state, the government, the state of the forum, the powers that be, they want to tell you that your beliefs don't matter. That, your beliefs in spirituality have nothing to do with medical science. I tell you what, folks, the stories they're telling us that they're calling the truth and medical facts, that is the fiction. That is the fiction. It's the same story, folks, that government under King George, government under colonial rule, government under martial law in 1776, it's the same story. You have no right to your freedoms and your liberties and your beliefs. You can think what you want, but what the government says actually matters. Your right to life, to eating food, to being able to engage in commerce, that's all subject to the will of the king, right? That's exactly what is going on again today. So you can see, folks, tyrants don't quit. And they have not quit over 18 months later. And they're still pushing this mask nonsense. They're still pushing their demands, their mandates. They're still claiming the state has supremacy over the individual. They're still pushing, folks. They're still pushing and pushing and pushing for compliance with their demands. And they're still threatening that there's going to be consequences. And yes, our good buddy Dr. Fauci, his quote, there comes a time when you have to give up your individual rights. No, there isn't a time when you have to give up your individual rights, you little shit. Folks, Back to the Future. You've got to go back in history, as boring as history may be, to see where we're going to be next month, the month after, right? King George, what did he do? He said, you know what? You people in America suck. So my Navy's going to go blockade your ports and punish you and not allow merchandise to show up, not allow goods to show up. And so the people had what, folks? Shortages of food, shortages of materials, shortages of supplies. What are we getting today? Mandates from the government. We're having trucking infrastructure issues, shipping issues, dock issues, rail line issues. It's the same thing, only it's come about by a little bit of a different trick. The king's edicts, that is the cerveza bug bullshit, is causing an infrastructure blockade within our country. The ports aren't being blockaded by British warships made of wood. They're being blockaded by big labor. They're being restricted by shortage of labor caused by Joe Biden, Dr. Doom, and this agenda, folks, to destroy America. Now, one more thing. Prior to 1776, prior, folks, to the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, people knew they had rights. People understood that they had liberties. It wasn't a new thing. They didn't invent rights in 1776. They didn't make any claims that weren't already made. It's just the government was refusing to recognize it and people were being punished. So here we are, 250 odd years later, and we're seeing the same consequences. We're just seeing government get there using a different means. Right now, let's say you were in New York and you wanted to travel to California. Well, you can go by truck, train, plane, automobile, right? It still takes you to where you're going. It's just the means or the method by which you travel, right? And how long it takes to get there. Well, Government wants to take our rights that we know exist, just like in 1776. The people knew they had rights. And King George wanted to take those rights, and he took them and screwed with people and fucked up their lives and killed them and destroyed their businesses and their farms and their industry. They did that using mandates, using royal edicts, and they're doing it again. Back to the future, folks. We have a grim and dark future. You know, dark winter, right, Joe Biden? We have a grim and dark future because tyranny is upon us. Chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours.